welcome back. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 new Instant Pot recipes. These are going to be incredibly easy and delicious Instant Pot dinners. I love using my Instant Pot. It's super easy, it's fast, it cooks the meat amazingly. It just tastes so good in the Instant Pot. I don't know what it is, but I love making meals in the Instant Pot. And so hopefully these are new dishes that you've never tried before and there's something new for you and your family. So grab your apron and let's get started. For this cracked chicken pasta, I'm going to need to turn my Instant Pot on to saute. And with some olive oil, I use probably about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm just going to saute my chicken. That should take about 5 to 7 minutes to cook through. And I just wanted to add that you can add in chicken breasts or chicken thighs. I just had chicken thighs on hand, so that's what I'm using for this meal. I think chicken breast would work better. It's just I didn't have that on hand, and it's usually cheaper where I live. But anyways, once that's done cooking, if you want to go ahead and add in about an ounce of this dry ranch seasoning, and I just kind of poured it all over, and I'm going to cook that and just kind of mix it in. And then when that is all mixed through, I'm going to go ahead and add in my rotini noodles. I did add the whole package, so I believe that was about 16 ounces worth. So once I put that in there, now I'm going to add in my chicken broth, and so I put in 4 cups of chicken broth. If it looks different, that's because I made it my own. I made it myself with some bouillon cubes, so that's why it doesn't look like the one that you would get in the little carton. But once I added that through, now I'm just going to go ahead and put the lid on, and I'm going to put it on the high pressure cook for about 4 minutes. And then after it's done cooking, I let it naturally release for about 5 minutes. And then I took the lid off and mixed it through. The noodles were al dente. They were perfect. They're just the way that I liked them to be, not overdone at all. So with cooking pasta with an Instant Pot, I'm always leery of them just because I want to make sure that my pasta isn't going to get overcooked. So sometimes it makes me nervous, but the recipes that I use, they always turn out really well. So I'm really encouraged by that. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add in a whole block of cream cheese, and I'm going to stir that, mix it through until it's all cooked through. I was kind of in a hurry here, so I didn't mix it and have it melted all the way before I added in my spinach. But I definitely do recommend getting it all stirred through before adding in your spinach. And I went ahead and added in this, I think it's 5 or 6 ounces of baby spinach here. And you just want to cook it through until the spinach is nice and wilted down. And then that's it. This meal is ready to go. You can even add some Parmesan cheese on top of that. That would make it even more delicious. But everybody in my household loved this meal. I did serve this with a roll and some butter, and it was perfect. All right, to start us off with these pork chops, I need to set my Instant Pot to saute, and I'm just going to take 1 tablespoon of butter and get it all melted through. And then I'm going to add about 1 medium onion to it. I've already diced and cut up my onion the way that I like, and I'm just going to put it in my Instant Pot to get it all nice and tender and golden brown. Now that my onions are nice and tender, they're slightly golden brown, I'm just going to push them off to the side, and I'm going to just sear these pork chops, just maybe 20 seconds on each side. And I have about 4 of them. I'm sure you could do 2, you could do 6, kind of whatever you have room for, or whatever you want to do to be able to feed your family. I just did 4 because I've pretty much felt like that's all that our family would eat. I knew my husband wasn't really going to eat these pork chops. It was just going to be me and my kids. because he does not like pork. He does not like pork chops. I don't know why. But anyway, so I'm just searing these pork chops one by one, kind of putting them on top of each other when they're done. And then once they are all done, then we're going to add in our broth. Okay, now we just need 1 cup of beef broth and then 1 teaspoon of whatsoever sauce. That's what I'm calling it. And I just kind of mix it, make sure everything is mixed through the best that I can, which is hard to do with those big pork chops. And then you can add in some salt and pepper just to season it a little bit, to give it a little bit of flavor. And we are just going to seal this and let it cook. I'm going to put the lid on and I'm going to put it on high pressure for about 8 minutes, and then I'm going to let it natural release for 5 minutes, and then we're going to check up on it. Okay, my pork chops look nice and tender. They're all the way cooked through. So I'm going to go ahead and take these out, and then I'm going to thicken up my sauce by using 1/3 cup of sour cream and probably about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I put some cornstarch in like a little dish and in with some water, and then I pour that in my Instant Pot here. And then I whisk it for a little bit, let it simmer up until it's nice and thick. And I just poured this over my pork chops and over my rice, and it was absolutely delicious. You can definitely use mashed potatoes for this. I think would be good as well. Okay, in my Instant Pot, I'm just going to go ahead and put in 3/4 cup of water, or you can put in beef broth, which is what I did. And then 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, 1/4 cup of soy sauce, and then 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. And I'm just going to give that a good whisk. And then once that is stirred through, I'm going to go ahead and add in some ginger. So I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of ginger, 3 cloves of garlic, and then I'm going to put in my chicken breast, or you can use chicken thighs. I do recommend putting in thighs for this type of meal. I just think thighs are much better when it comes to like chicken and broccoli. I don't know. It's just my preference, I guess. I don't know. But it did taste really, really good. It was very, very tender. So I do recommend using the thighs. So once that's all put together, we're going to go ahead and put this on high pressure for about 3 minutes. And then we're going to do a natural release for maybe 2 to 3 minutes. And then we're just going to look at it, make sure everything's cooked through. And since everything was cooked through, I just went ahead and put that on a plate. And then I'm going to make my sauce a little bit thicker after I do that. In a little dish, I just put in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch with some water, mixed it up, and I'm going to put my Instant Pot on saute so it'll get nice and warm, and I'm just going to stir it until it starts thickening up. And then once it's the thickness that I like, I'm going to go ahead and add in my broccoli. I have frozen broccoli. You guys can use fresh broccoli or frozen broccoli, whichever you prefer is fine. And I'm going to go ahead and let this cook for just a minute, literally just a minute. I put this on for, I think, 2 minutes, but that was too long, I believe. I think my broccoli was a little bit more well done than I wanted to. So if you just put this on for 1 minute, it will get everything cooked through and it'll be fine. And now I'm just checking it, and then I'm going to put my chicken back in here, and I'm just going to serve this over some rice, and it was delicious. To make this dish even more flavorful, you can add in some peppers, or you can put some sesame seeds on top as well. Just kind of whatever you prefer to do. And this is what it looked like after it was done. And so delicious. I really encourage you to make this dish. Okay, this was our family's favorite meal out of all of these that I did. This meal was delicious. This is going to blow your socks off, I'm telling you. So I just went ahead and pressed the saute button, and we're going to saute these onions. I did about a whole onion, chopped them up, and I'm just going to saute them, make sure they're nice and tender. And then when they're almost done, that's when I'm going to add in my hamburger beef. I have this hamburger beef that I got from just a local farm. You can use whatever beef that you have on hand. And I'm just going to ground it up until it's nice and fine. And then we're going to add in our seasonings and our marinara sauce. For our seasonings, I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 teaspoon of salt and then a half a teaspoon of black pepper. Kind of give that a good mix, a good stir. Next, I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And then I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of garlic powder and give that another good whisk. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in my pasta. So I have these shells here. You know, you can use whatever type of pasta that you want. I went ahead and used these shells, and I really liked the shells. I don't use shells a whole lot in my cooking. I don't usually use a lot of shells for pasta, but I really did like it. And then a jar of this marinara sauce. You can use whatever type of sauce that you have on hand. Is completely fine, whatever type of pasta sauce you have. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in 3 cups of water, and I'm just barely stirring it, just kind of making sure all the shells are submerged on top. And that is it. That's all I'm going to do. I kind of made sure that I got all the pasta sauce out of the jar because I do not like to waste. No, I do not. And then I'm going to put the lid on, and I'm going to let this cook. And I'm going to put it on high pressure for about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to do a quick release when it's done cooking. I think that takes forever. I feel like it takes like another minute for that release, for all the steam to release. It's crazy. Now that it's all done cooking, I'm just going to stir it through. And I'm always surprised that the pasta is just perfect. I mean, it only cooked for 5 minutes. It's just crazy to me. And then I'm going to stir in my heavy whipping cream. I have about a cup and a half of heavy whipping cream. And I'm going to add in about a half a cup of Parmesan. You can always add more cheese if you want to. That's what we do. We eat a lot of cheese in this house. So I just gave that a good stir, and if you see this, you'll see how absolutely creamy it is. It is delicious. My husband's not a big fan of red sauce, but he loved this because of how creamy it was. So I really do hope that you enjoy this meal. And if you try this meal, please let me know in the comment section if you liked it. All right, next is a classic beef stroganoff, but this is like a very, very easy version of beef stroganoff. So I really liked it. So I'm just going to spray my Instant Pot, and then I'm going to go ahead and ground up my hamburger beef. I'm going to add in some onion that's already been diced up. Of course, I make a mess because that is what I do best in the kitchen. I don't think I make a meal without making a mess. It's quite unreal. Anyways, I just go ahead and mix this up, and I'm going to add in about a clove of garlic. So I think I put in about a tablespoon of minced garlic, and I'm just grounding it up, getting it nice and cooked through. And then once it's all cooked through, I'm going to go ahead and add in some seasonings. I'm going to go ahead and add in a tablespoon of flour, and then I'm just going to stir that through to get that flour combined in with the grease. And then I'm going to add in a teaspoon of salt, a fourth a teaspoon of pepper, and then I'm going to give that another good whisk, get that stirred through properly. And then I am going to add in my broth. So I have 3 cups of broth that I'm going to put in there. And then I'm going to put in my cream of mushroom soup after that is stirred through, which, you know, for whatever reason, I feel like I have to stir everything after I put in one ingredient. I don't know. I think I have OCD or something. Okay, so I'm putting in my cream of mushroom soup. And you know me, I do not want to waste one single drop. So I'm getting all of it out. And then I'm going to add in my rotini noodles. You can, or I'm sorry, not rotini noodles. My goodness. My egg noodles. They almost look like rotini noodles at first. And then I'm just stirring that through to give it a good stir. And then I'm going to put the lid on, and it's going to cook. I'm going to put this on high pressure for about 8 minutes, and then I'm going to let it natural release for 5 minutes, and then I'll do a quick release. Okay, now everything is cooked through. The noodles are al dente. Everything looks great. I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 cup of sour cream and stir it, and it's good. And we put this with some peas. Half of my family likes peas, half of them don't. So I did some peas, and then I did some corn, and maybe some bread, and it was delicious. My whole family really, really enjoyed it. And I am sorry if you see that fly on the video. I have a fly problem, apparently, when it's time to cook. I don't know. He needs to go away, though. But this is what it looked like after it was done cooking, and it was phenomenal. I just want to thank you for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you make one of these meals. If you do, let me know, and subscribe so you don't miss the next video.